Since social media has become a huge part of everyday life for the majority of people, privacy has become a major issue. In recent years, employers have been hiring applicants not just based off their resumes and interviews, but rather what shows up on the applicant's social networking sites. It has gotten to the point where there is no separation between work and free time because everything posted on the web can now be used against an applicant when applying for a job. This tactic is taking place in border and airport security as well. One of the factors that disables the validity of a social media screening is if it is done with racist intentions. Another factor is the potential for employers to find things that could be taken out of context. Lastly, employers can abuse the power of social screening by diving too deep into someone's personal information. Under these circumstances, it is reasonable to question the effectiveness of searching one's social media during a background check. Racism is still a significant problem in the workplace today, and one of the areas in which it exists the most is in the hiring process. For employers who are skeptical of hiring certain people based on their ethnicity, it is tempting to reserve background checks solely for minorities. Instances of this have been reported more frequently as technology has advanced more and more. An example of this occurred in July of 2016 when an African American lady named Karen Matonen reported that during her interview over the phone for a company in San Diego, she was asked for her DMV license. The company did not require for her to drive on the job, and when Karen asked why, the employer said they needed to make sure that they can eliminate hiring certain characters. In this case, the company is looking to carefully observe only certain people's driving records, which is illegal. This was a prominent company in California, so it was unusual for them to engage in such inequality. This contributes to why social media background checks should not be allowed in some cases. Another big reason why social media is not valid for measuring honesty is the possibility for things to be taken out of context by the employer. This can be a significant issue in cases where national acceptance is at stake. These issues belong to American students who live in foreign countries that can be subject to full social media inspection if they live in the Middle East, and if something bad is found, their access to the country will be denied. For example, in late August of 2019, Harvard student Ismail Ajawi was rejected from entering the country by a U.S. Customs and Border Control officer who had run a background check on him that took 5 hours. Ajawi claims that the officer called him into a room, began screaming at him, and said that she found people posting political points of view that opposed the U.S. on his friend's Facebook page. Ajawi intended to go back to school after being in Lebanon, but after the incident, he was denied access to the country and was sent back to Lebanon. What this case proves is that social background checks provide a way for things to be taken out of context, as Ajawi was persecuted for his friend's posts. While many use social media to share their information with others, the average user doesn't want everyone, including the U.S. government, looking through their media too deeply. By introducing social media background checks, this is possible and certainly happens. Just recently, in the summer of 2019, President Donald Trump decided to respond to the recent frequent school shootings by calling all social media websites to look closely through their servers' information for clues that would allude to them being possible school shooters. Although this could eliminate some attacks, there would be several issues voiced by users who would like their warranted privacy but do not have anything to hide. In this specific case, gun control is the bigger root cause of the problem, and looking for possible school shooters by stalking people on social media would not stop people from being able to buy assault weapons. This case proves how government officials are given the option to look through any or everyone's personal information, regardless of legal issues, if it means finding a threat before it happens. There are lots of better ways to ensure safety when granting people access to live and work in America, whether it be through legitimate background checks or through stricter gun laws. However, social media background checks are not enough to make decisions for someone's right to a job or citizenship. Even though it is a good way to be assured of one's identity, the validity of social media background checks is corrupt because there is the possibility for a racist background check to occur with no justice. Something found on one's page could be taken out of context for something guilty, and there is also the possibility for one's information to be explored too much to the point where it is illegal. Because of these reasons, we must question the logic behind using social media background checks for important decisions.